Hello, boys and girls. In this video, we are going to look at some common errors that you are very likely to make in the first couple of weeks of programming in C. So it should be fun. Let's begin. What we are going to do is we're going to write a program that you've already written before, but we'll make some mistakes while we do it. So we'll say int a comma b. Actually, we'll say int a is 2, b is 1, and then we'll say c equals a plus b, and then we'll say printf result is %d, comma, c. Now, there's something wrong with this. And the nice thing with using Visual Studio Code is that it actually already tells you that there's something wrong. You don't have to compile it. What is the problem? The problem here is that the identifier C is undefined. So if you were programming in Pruter, you would get an error message after you compiled it. But because VS Code is smart, it essentially examines the syntax already beforehand, and it tells you, oh, you're making a mistake. It points you to the mistake, and in fact, you can ask for a quick fix also. But in general, the quick fix may or may not be very relevant for you. In this case, it isn't. So what is the problem now? The problem is that we have not declared the value C. So we haven't declared what size of box has to be assigned for C before specifying this expression. So let's say we change that. Let's say we say int C. But now let's make a different mistake. Again, we just want to make common mistakes that you guys will be making. So now we've declared all three of these variables, and now we have saved our file. And in this case, look at what happens. There's no error. The VS Code is fine with this, and if you actually try and compile this, it will compile. But then when you actually run the code, look at this. The result is some strange number that we don't understand head or tail of. This is what is called a garbage value. Why does a garbage value get printed? Well, let's look at it. We defined the boxes. We said that the variable A has to have an int-sized box, which means it has to have a 4-byte-sized box. We said that the variable B also has to have a same size box, and also the variable C. But we have not actually put any value in the boxes. And so, because these boxes are just random chunks of computer memory that are being assigned to our program, whatever bits are already stored on the hard drive at that location are interpreted by C as the value of the integer in the box. And then that value is essentially printed. So whatever value of A and B was assumed by the computer based on the random bits that were present on the computer's RAM in those locations that were assigned to the boxes A and B, those values are added, and that sum is printed. So this is a situation where you don't have an error in your syntax. The syntax is fine. The problem is with your logic. You did not initialize the value of your variables. So let's fix that problem. We'll say int A equals 1, and we'll say int B equals 2, and we said int C. Now We don't have that problem anymore. Let's compile, let's print. The result is fine. So what we learn is that you can make mistakes in syntax, you can make mistakes in logic. The way to not make these mistakes is to always declare and initialize your variables properly before they are used. The before is very important. If I were to do something like this, this would be wrong. You can see that even VS Code is flagging it as wrong. The code is compiled from top to bottom. Therefore, the declaration has to happen before use. It cannot happen after use. So this, in a nutshell, is the set of problems that you guys are going to encounter when you start declaring and initializing variables. I've given you a nice tutorial here of what not to do.